Join Andy and I as we take a stroll through the Ashton Court estate on the southern edge of Bristol, off on a walk to locate that most elusive of benchmarks, a fundamental one. I guess you spotted that this isn't Bristol. Andy and I completed the mighty southwest coast path, and one of the highlights for me was walking around West Penwith. And it was topped off by what felt to me like a pilgrimage to Newlyn, the bustling little fishing port tucked away just to the immediate south of Penzance and after the glories of Mousehole. Well, when I first visited, you couldn't get out onto the South Pier to see the Tidal Observatory, but by a bit of good fortune and making some contacts through the Newlyn Archive, Richard Cockram in particular, I got an escorted guided tour out onto the South Pier to see the very place in which sea level was measured at the beginning of the 20th century. And that measure of sea level still stands. All the heights on all the maps you'll ever see in Britain show height relative to mean sea level as measured in the Tidal Observatory at the end of this pier in the lovely little port of Newlyn. I can't tell you how excited I was to examine this place for myself. So not only did I see the actual benchmark at which sea level is set, that's where naught is on the map if you like, 0 feet, 0 metres, I also was lucky enough to be escorted by the Newlyn newsagent, David. And David took Emma and I uphill to Tolkien, where we saw the first of the couple of hundred fundamental benchmarks in Britain. And to this walk in Bristol, that's the only fundamental benchmark that I can ever recall seeing. So today's walk in Bristol is in search of the Flax Bourton fundamental benchmark. Join us, walking fans. As we strolled downhill through Ashton Court towards the house, Andy set me the first music puzzle that he'd done for a while. And the question was, what had he been listening to in the car on the way here this morning that lasted 17 minutes and 40 seconds? He did give one clue, and that it was a live performance. So, length of track, Andy?
17 minutes 40.
1973.
Album, yeah.
Any further details about the album?
It's considered their zenith of their creative performances. Well, it's my favourite track, yeah. I don't know whether it's your favourite track from that particular group.
Well, after some guesswork and a process of elimination, I ended up, and should have known in the first place, it was, of course, Phoenix from the great Wishbone Ash album of the 1970s, Live Dates.
Good morning.
House, and no two ways about it, slave money paid for this, like so much that's grand in Bristol. The Smythe family, there's some interesting tales to be told about them, not least the Smythe was one of the co-owners of the Frog Lane Colliery, Culper Heath Mines. Hobwell Lane. I'm looking out to the eastern side of Bristol across the Ashton Vale. Looking east, in a very far distance you can imagine the Cotswolds are there somewhere. And dead ahead is Dundry Hill with a radio tower or two on it, and Dundry Church. Well, distinctive red soils of the limestone area. We're on the Carboniferous limestone, not very far beneath our feet. There's some whacking great big quarries up this way. Well, somewhere down there, would you believe, is a Roman settlement. All I can hear is a pump on a farm. Somewhere over that way is Lulsgate Airport. And according to the ordnance map, up above us is a medieval field system. I'd expect to see some ridges and furrows, and I can't really see much from here. Maybe in the next field. That's a ridge, and that's a furrow, and this is another ridge. In my wild imagining, we're in a medieval farm system. The Ordnance Survey map says it is, so I believe them. Onward we trek. Okay, we're searching for this spot here. Fundamental benchmark inbound. So we're in search of an elusive thing, a fundamental benchmark. And do you know what? I think I've nailed it. The levels of excitement now are immense. I wonder if these people realise what they're right up against. The green railings, the playpen. It's called a playpen. We're on a little B road here, which will probably be annoyingly busy as I go across. Well, that's the brass bolt on top. So that's the brass bolt on top. This is the Ordnance Survey nameplate on it. And this concrete pillar here is the top of an underground cavern. And down in the ground, in like a concrete chamber, almost like a sarcophagus, are two things. Another brass bolt and a sharpened piece of flint embedded into the concrete on the solid rock. And it's there that the height is actually measured against. But they know the exact difference between the brass knob there and the things in the cavity. That's measured to 3 decimal places of a metre, or it would have been feet. So the surveyor now, if they were to use it, which they no longer do, would put a surveying staff actually on the brass knob. So that is a fundamental benchmark. That's the second one I've ever seen. Well, thanks once again for watching, Walking fans. There's plenty more videos on my YouTube. If you want notification of them, please consider subscribing. I'd like that very much indeed. I've also posted a link down below to the route Andy and I took as we strolled from Ashton Court, basically southwestwards and back again. Easy going on a pleasant winter's day. And thanks to Andy for putting up with my idiosyncratic routes that I use from time to time. I guess my parting shot on this walk, apart from saying thanks for watching once again, is respect to the surveyors and the levellers of the Great Ordnance Survey. One of the finest things about Britain, and easy to take for granted, but every walker should nod their head with respect to the Ordnance Survey. See you next time.